Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and sitting across the Holotable from me is Josh, a.k.a. the Golden Pop-Tart.
Seems like this year the weather has been so interesting every time that we go through and try to record. I mean,
it is.
Tornadoes today. Remember we had snowstorms. It just seems like we're just attracting interesting weather.
We were just talking before the show about, like, we were both kind of thinking, will there be a show tonight? Will we have internet tonight? Is this a thing that is even possible? I don't know. But fortunately for us, our part of the state got hit much less intensely than we had kind of prepared for. So we're good. It's wet outside.
Yes, it is.
That's ultimately all the damage that we had to suffer. Last time I lost 2 trees. So it's wet outside is wonderful news. Order 66 is coming, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming. So this is it. This is your last prep for, actually, by the time this launches, I mean, you've got days.
Yeah. 4 days after we launch. Yeah.
So I'm sure you've got plenty of time. You've got 4 days. We'll talk you through what you need to do to get your roster in ship shape, shibbity, shabbity. I don't know. We don't really know what, because every time with one of these raids, it's kind of like, what's going to be the really strong team? Is one of them going to get an Omicron? So we'll talk about all that and get into that. I think that's really going to be the bulk of the conversation. There's nothing else going on in this game that matters as much as the next few days of raid prep. So we'll get to that in a moment. But first, let's celebrate a couple Blurf days. All right, this week we've got several. We've got on the 22nd, Range Trooper is turning 7 years old, and Captain Rex, the old man Rex, is turning 2 years old. Old man, 2 years.
Interesting.
Captain Buttons.
Buttons.
I love Captain Rex.
Me too.
Like, I mean, the character's cool, but I love the design of this Captain Rex character. He's so satisfying to use. That AoE days.
Yep.
He hits hard. The Leia team in general is pretty fun to run.
Yeah.
Or on a Phoenix team too.
Or even 3v3. I mean, I think that's interesting too. I mean, when you have I kept on saving mine for offense, and why, I don't know, but I mean, it was just kind of fun. I mean, to have 3 different teams that can go to, I mean, he really is a dang good character.
He is a lot of fun to use. And then Range Trooper is someone that used to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he still gets some play, I mean, he's still definitely great on a Veer's Trooper team. But a Veer's Trooper team isn't as great as it once was. Or an Iden team. He fits on an Iden team. And that's, I guess, maybe a little more fun.
Maybe it's unlimited Range Trooper. Maybe he plays a lot of 2K, right?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Unlimited range. Yeah. And then let's see, on the 23rd, we have Grand Inquisitor turning 3 years old. The whole Inquisitor faction. The funny thing with him, I mean, now you play against an Inquisitor team and you kind of know what you're getting into, and you know that he's a threat, right? He's the hardest hitter generally. But like, that said, he was such a disappointment when he came out. The way they had never trumpeted a whole faction arrival the way that they did with Inquisitors. They were like, you're going to want this. You're going to want this. You're going to want this. Trust me, you're going to want this. And so we're all like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'm leveling them all up. I'm getting them to relics. We're doing this. And then you get him and you're like, yeah, man, I got him. And he's, okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Reva fixed it all. Like, Reva really turned Inquisitors into a top tier team.
I mean, he's amazing.
Now, he's good. Yeah.
He's amazing in Conquest. The fact that you can, especially this time around where you have all those dots out there and you do his middle ability and all of a sudden basically everyone's just practically dying. I mean, I do like that. But of course, it's more Reva gives you 6 automatically for the purge.
Sure.
But, he's good for that one button.
It's a satisfying team to use.
Yeah.
It's one that, I used to always set on defense and never mess around with really, but now, I almost always use it on attack and it's fun. They hit hard. He's a big reason why. So now on the 26th, we've got a big Blurf day. The specific characters, Geonosian Brood Alpha, Negotiator, and Wat Tambor, all turning 6 years old because it was 6 years ago that they released Dark Side Territory Battles. And that was Dark Side Territory Battle Geonosis. Geonosis. I can't talk today at all. Geonosis, and that kind of changed. A Hoth was what it was. Geonosis was much more dynamic. You had more interesting battles, and then that definitely got stale eventually. Rise of the Empire. It's my favorite content in the game, and it's also super annoying at times. But there's a huge variety at least. So
at least the first round is fun. You're going to feel a little bit powerful in the first round. I mean, thereafter. I mean, that last day though. Poof. The later stages, I do my Jabba mission and deploy. Yep.
That's about what you can achieve, and I don't know. I still have dreams. I've put them on pause for now because we got a new raid coming and that's more important. But I do have dreams of getting my Gungans up to Relic 9 and just dominate.
Wow.
Dominant. It's I'm so mad that I didn't do it when the raid started. Because in retrospect, I should have put the work in there. I gave him the Omicron.
So that's all you needed at the time.
Why not max him out and just, it's so easy. Ugh. But I'm not going to reminisce. I'm not going to reminisce about the good old days with the Battle for Naboo raid. That's what I'm not going to do.
Honestly, that's our last one, right?
Yeah. I think we might squeak one more in. I got to do the math. We might squeak one more in, but I think we might be done. So we'll see. I'm glad you said something because I've been meaning the last couple of days to look at it and see, can we squeak another one in? Of course we can, but do we care to?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it for Blurf Days. So let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events, brought to you by swgohevents.com for a complete list of past, present, and future events. swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. Now, this week, really, the only thing that matters is the new raid, but here's the other stuff that's happening. On the 20th, we've got a Smuggler's Run, as well as Dark Sovereign. That's your Leviathan event. On the 21st, we've got an Assault Battle. It'll be Military Might. The 22nd brings us Contraband Cargo. On the 23rd, we've got an Omega Battle on Endor, but that's also the end of Conquest. So you'll be reaping those rewards and getting your Ultimate Journey and or Proving Grounds stuff going there. Proving Grounds, I've literally never had to do it. I don't imagine I ever will. My heart goes out to all of you who do, because it's just such a cruel way to make you earn the things that you missed.
I mean, I thought I heard like a na boo boo in that one. You're like, ha ha ha, never had to do it. I'm better than you.
I only say it
I'm joking.
to clarify that I'm not like trying to be like, I get it, because I don't. I've never had to. But man,
I understand.
Ultimate Journey though, yeah. Love that.
Especially The Sims.
I think Sim. Spin. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Grand Arena Week 2 sign up should be on the 23rd as well. I think we sign up on a Monday. You have till Tuesday to set your defense, and then till what is that? Wait, if you sign up on a Monday, okay, you have till Tuesday to sign up. You have till Wednesday to set your defense, until Thursday to attack. That makes sense. Okay, yes. So sign up starts on the 23rd. We got there. We also have on the 25th an Assault Battle Rebel Roundup. And then on the 26th, we'll do a Ghosts of Dathomir to get your Night Sister Zombie and Night Sister Spirit shards. So a decent schedule, but again, the main thing's going to be that raid. So before we get into that raid, let's take a quick moment to give a shout out to our fantastic Patreon supporters. If you enjoy what we do and you want to be a part of our community, head over to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. You get VIP access to our Discord, early access to episodes, and of course, our weekly Doth Chat, where we chat with patrons each Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Your support keeps the lights on and the sandcrawlers running. Now then, punch it, Pop-Tart.
All right. So we talked a little bit about who could be in the raid last week, but I want to actually start at the bottom of the post if you are going into the forums on this for the Order 66 to talk a little discussion for a moment here. So it's a raid designer talked about watching Revenge of the Sith for the first time and hearing the execute Order 66 and just that jaw-dropping movement, right? So I thought I was going to ask you, like, to me, it was one of the best moments in the sense of just, like, creating that awe, and it really was an amazing thing. So talk a little bit about when you first saw execute Order 66. What were you thinking? What were you feeling?
Yeah, for sure. So I had a very different early Star Wars experience than you, right? I grew up very invested in the original trilogy. So the sequel trilogy comes out, and I'm not one of those guys that just bashes it and bashes it and bashes it. But I will say, like, I think this is important to give context to Order 66, is that walking out of The Phantom Menace, my brain had not settled on what did I just watch, because there was so much cool, like, and going into it, there was so much hype. Like, I knew what Darth Maul looked like, but I wasn't ready for how cool that was. And like, whatever, there's a lot of good things, but I also was just like, what the heck was that, And I would say Attack of the Clones had similar things that was pulling me. Like, I'm like, God, this love story, oh my God, just end it. I hate that. But then, like, there's the clones, like Django, that kind of stuff is pretty cool. So I've been going along for the ride, and I'm like, hey, these prequels, I've accepted that, like, I love the originals, and this is like a neat new thing they're doing, and it, it's whatever, it's cool. But then Revenge of the Sith was a little bit different because I had watched the Genndy Tartakovsky series on Cartoon Network leading up to the release of this. So that got me pretty hyped for like General Grievous.
Yeah.
But I've been here before. I got hyped for Darth Maul, and I still like the overall picture was just kind of weird for me. So we get into Revenge of the Sith, and I'm like, all right, this I feel like this trilogy just hit its stride. This is really cool, you know? And I'm digging it. You know, the Grievous stuff is cool. The Chancellor Palpatine with Dooku, that stuff, this is cool. And when I heard him say, Sidious say, execute Order 66, like that's the first time for me in the trilogy where I was just like completely satisfied.
Wow.
You know, like I was just like, yes, this is why I'm here. This is an unraveling of this whole big army that they put together stupidly, you know, like they didn't know what they were even buying. You know, it was like Obi-Wan is like, hey, there's this secret army that was built by this guy that we can't find. And all the Jedi are like, sweet, sign him up. You know, like there's something really gullible about that. And so to see that all unravel so fast, and the sense of like, okay, we have these clone troopers, we're invested in this battle, and then suddenly it's like, no, now both sides are fighting just us. And I don't know, it was just awesome. Just an awesome moment in the prequels. And then obviously the Anakin Obi-Wan lightsaber business and the assault on the temple once Order 66 rolls into that, you know. It's really cool. But yeah, it's one of the I would say honestly it's the best moment of the prequels for me, because before you even, and I'm really going on this, but before you even get into the story, the type of story and the type of characters you want involved in a prequel trilogy, before you get into any of that, one thing that everyone knows is we're going to see Anakin fall to the dark side.
Yep.
And you see Palpatine issue that order, and you're like, well, shucks, here it all comes, you know? And I mean, you could say what you will about it being rushed or whatever the pacing on Anakin's particular part. But that's that shakeup, that moment of like, get your popcorn, because we're doing this. It's not going to be pretty. All these characters that you love are going to die. It's done. So, yeah, I feel like a psychopath saying all that, but
no,
I got it off my chest.
That's why I wanted to ask the question. I mean, yeah. I think too, just they did such a good job with the music, with creating that atmosphere. I mean, when he walks into that room with the younglings, I mean, it's like, you know what's going to happen, and you knew it was going to happen. Like the idea, if you really go deep into kind of the thought process with it, and I mean, it just, even seeing him, I mean, like he didn't want to do that, but he had to do it. You know, I mean, it just really was so good. But the music too, when you see, I mean, Ki-Adi-Mundi turn around and be like, "What? Why aren't you guys coming?" And then he gets shot down. I mean, it just was so different. And again, for me, watching, legitimately going from 1, 2, 3, then watching the old ones, I mean, Yoda like bending over, like grabbing his chest, like that's how I felt. Like it felt like I was watching these characters that you know, that you love just die. You know, I mean,
you want that one little segment when they first issue it, and you see Plo Koon dies, and you're like, no, like you don't really know. The Clone Wars series hasn't come out yet, so we don't really know these characters inside and out, right? Like we do now. Now watching it, it's even worse because you're so invested in them. But you know, they cut to Plo Koon, he dies. And you're like, oh man. And they cut to Ayla. She dies. And they cut to like all these different people, and every scene change, you're like, come on, you can make it out, right? Yeah, no one's making it out, you know?
Yeah, I mean, man, yeah, Plo Koon was tough for me, where it drops back and you just watch him just explode. Like it's tough. I mean, it's really interesting. And then, like I said, I really think just that part with Yoda grabbing his chest, like, and just knowing, and then also too, I love the fact that, you know, he's strong enough that he's going to be able to feel them coming to kill him. I mean, it really, it's interesting. So I do think though, like when it comes to this raid, kind of like segmenting kind of into this, that, I mean, the Battle of Naboo was all right, but I think it was almost goofy all right. It's like,
yes,
they're throwing energy balls at robots, and it really felt
and
like
the robots are comic relief, and the Gungans are comic relief. You know, like it's all very goofy. Yeah. So
that's why I think in some ways, I know we talked about, I mean, we're not going to say the elephant in the room. We're going to say the pirates in the room, and like the other pieces of it just, this feels like it's more iconic. You know, I mean, I still think going back to when Luke goes through and learns it's, you know, Darth Vader's father, and just the expression, what's happening, you know, that's what it feels like, that emotional side to it. I obviously didn't get that with, you know, the last raid. So this one's going to be interesting because they are creating more drama. Like this has so much more drama. So is this raid going to live up to that drama, or are we going to be, you know, doing the same thing? Because really, if you think about it, the speeder bike raid, there's no drama in that. You're just right.
Yeah. You're just cruising.
So this is going to be one of those ones where I want a feel of something. So is it going to be a letdown if it's just kind of the same thing where we, you know, but man. Yeah. So yes. So wanted to ask that just because, again, you know, when you talk about kind of just where it is and kind of the feeling of this raid, there's some people like myself that are, I mean, episode 3 is my favorite Star Wars movie. So, I mean, and there's more people I think that started a little bit later in life that could be the case. But
oh, for sure. Yeah.
So then when you look at this, this raid itself, it's going to be pretty interesting. So recap real quick, so we won't go over this too much. You know, who's going to be in the raid, right? So we talked about last week, all the pirates in the game, and yes, the ones that aren't even in the game, including the Galactic Legends, which again, we're putting our money on Han, hopefully, right?
I don't know. I think a strong case has been made for Maul on this.
Maul?
Lately, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I've seen, I should have bookmarked it, but I read a thing about it, and like basically that keeps the balance of light side and dark side. And I know I said last episode, like, that's not crucial. Not to me. I don't care. But it keeps the light side, dark side balance. They have pretty much always come in pairs, right? Like you look at Kenobi was the first one to launch without someone else, but then Lord Vader came right after him.
Yeah.
And then you had was Jabba next or Leia?
Jabba.
Oh my goodness.
Jabba, then Leia.
Yeah, then Jabba, and then Leia. And so those two are connected in that, you know, I mean, sure. And then for Ahsoka, if the next one's a pirate, Han would make 0 sense with that cadence. Now, do they have to stick to that? No, absolutely not. But Maul would make a lot of sense for an opponent to the other side of Ahsoka. They fought multiple times. They're in Rebels together, Clone Wars together.
But he's
Maul
a pirate
has a new
too?
show coming out.
True.
It could be argued, you know. I mean, it could be finagled, I think. So I don't know. I'm not as sold after reading that it has to well, I was never 100% that it's Han, but he made sense to me. Maul, I don't hate that idea.
Yeah, I mean, again, Maul's a great character in there, so I mean, I wouldn't mind by any means.
Because now the good like Conquest Maul is set as like the Mandalorian leader, but and you have the Maul from episode 1, which works with Sith. Those totally make sense. But there is the Crimson Dawn Maul, and we're going to have a Maul series on Disney Plus. So,
oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
It makes more sense with more time for me to think about that. But.
Yeah, well, I like that too. I mean, again, it's Maul.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
I really would.
Now, if it's again where he automatically gains the bonuses because of Kenobi, I'll be annoyed by that, but it's all right. So
right,
it's a good mechanic, but
he should get penalized if Kenobi's there, because really he just gets blind with rage and overtaken and can't control himself. And yeah,
and I mean, old man, Kenobi beat him in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean,
one hit.
Gotcha. Even though that is so amazing, I again we're on tangent a little bit tonight, but that's fine too. But
we'll get there.
They had basically Sam Witwer, the person that actually plays him,
voices him,
talks about basically how Kenobi changed stance. Like at first he thinks he's old school, where he's doing the normal, and then he goes into and he basically beats him by going into the Qui-Gon view to it. Like it was really cool how he explained it. If you get a chance, listen to that. And
I've seen that. Yeah,
it's really cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about other people, but it's okay.
Okay. Well, obviously not me.
I knew you did, so, but
I was in the room with him when the interview went down.
But yes, so Bad Batch, new school Bad Batch. Yes, in fact, you're going to be there. Yes,
sure.
It's weird that we have the new Dark Side clones, but guess what? They're the new toy of the week in Mr. Moff. Even though you don't have a glow up when it comes to what you look like, he does have a little bit of a glow up in his kit, so that'll be nice. And then you have your Jedi Vanguard, and so we got that whole group. So yeah, there's not going to be any too craziness. Now again, you're not going to have your Galactic Legend pirate ready to go. Sorry,
it just but you get 5 runs, so you'll be able to put 5 team. Well, I shouldn't say you will, but many players will be able to put 5 teams together.
So, and then again, we got a couple. I mean, I'm not exactly sure if they said when Mace is going to come out, but again, we're going to wait for him. It looks like he's going to have a lot of pieces to it. So,
yeah.
Now, looking first, if we look at some of the questions, it's really the one thing that's interesting is how long will this raid live? They're basically saying it's about a year, and so that's a pretty decent amount of time. And I know we talked previously, I think it's 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, for some of these. It felt like the speeder bike raid kind of was a lot quicker. Now, if we go a year, just one new raid a year, I'm okay with that. Aren't you?
I'm fine with that. Yeah. As long as it's, I should say, as long as it's not
true
awful.
Yeah. Agreed. So,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it feels like with Naboo, at this point, I'm done. At first, I really actually enjoyed it. And then now, not so much. But so, yes. So another different thing also, too, for this raid is that this is going to be a lot quicker. So it sounds like they heard the feedback. The whole point, is with a speeder bike, I basically put it on auto. You just leave it. With Naboo, man, I mean, you got to still direct it a little bit in some cases. It helped after they did a little bit of the changing of it, but in general, this should be a lot quicker of a battle. And I did feel like for the crate dragon, that actually that's honestly one of my favorite raids, to be honest.
Same here. I enjoyed it for the most part. I mean, Jawas stunk.
Yeah, I didn't use those guys, but
Tuskens were frustratingly inconsistent for me.
Yeah. But the Mandalorian group, it just felt, and then Jabba came in, that was really good, and then the Omicron for Leia, it did feel pretty good. So if this one's going to be more like that, I'm good with that too.
Sure.
So let's talk a little bit about what is actually happening in the raid.
Yeah, mechanics and whatnot. Yeah.
So let's go.
Oh,
you're good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand that baton.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's like, you keep opening your trap, I'm gonna make you talk, buddy. Yeah. So it's I mean, basically, you're fighting through waves of dark side clone troopers. You're defending the Jedi Temple and rescuing Jedi, right? So it's kind of tricky how they do it. It's not going to be just defeat some clone troopers, and here's another wave of clone troopers, and like not naming names, but Battle for Naboo.
Yeah.
So instead, what it is essentially you get through the clones to get to Vader. Because Vader is leading these clones in the attack. You rescue a Jedi by hitting Vader 3 times. If you hit Vader 3 times, you rescue a Jedi. And buddy, that gets you points. So I believe it is if you drop Apo. Let's see. The scoring. Yeah, you rescue him after you hit Vader 3 times. That's what it is. It's different abilities that you get for different people that you knock down. So if you beat Apo, all enemies are subdued, which means they whenever they're inflicted with a debuff, they take true damage. That's pretty dope. Also, they get negative 35% crit avoidance, defense, and tenacity. If you drop Fox, they get dire fortitude. So you add 5 stacks of execute to the enemy Lord Vader. And all allies gain dire fortitude until the rest of the battle, which is plus 35% crit chance, defense, and offense. And whenever they gain a buff, they also gain 10% crit damage stacking. So, like, targeting different, and who knows which one's going to be most effective. It may look like, obviously, you want to take out Fox, right? But I don't know. Maybe that's too hard, not worth it, you know? So it'll take a couple runs before we really all figure out what the strategy is going to be. But defeating particular clones gives you particular bonuses, and once they're down, then you can attack Vader. And do they all have to drop before you hit Vader?
Ooh, that's interesting.
I know I read it, but there's so much to read. Overall strategy. Fox, Apo, Disguised Clone Trooper, and Nightfall Trooper are all in there.
Yeah.
You can't target if all Disguised Clone Troopers and Nightfall Troopers are active. So once one falls, you get a window to hit him 3 times. Okay. So that's going to rescue you a Jedi, and you just rescue as many Jedi as you can.
Yeah. And it definitely looks like, so the commander units, you get 22,000 points. So, I mean, that's pretty good. So it looks like Nightfall and Disguise are 5. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
So you also get faction bonuses, which are kind of nice. The Vanguard get big health protection and offense. They have scaling offense. Bad Batch gets synergies with stealth and damage reduction. Pirates do extra true damage. And that one is truly, we'll see.
Yeah, right.
We don't have a lot of pirates to play with yet. And then Dark Side Clone Troopers play with the Order 66 debuff and get big like turn meter out of it. So there's some cool abilities that you kind of get. And I guess there's some of that in the Naboo raid, but it's like, I don't know.
Feel that way. It doesn't
feel like it the way it did with Crate.
Yep.
The Crate Dragon, like Tuskens always have the ballista available.
Yeah.
It was like a very different feel, even if it had similar abilities. The abilities weren't designed to make you notice it. And this looks like it'll make you notice a little bit more.
I'm hoping now with the hero bonuses, I'm hoping that plays something, because, I mean, some of these look pretty interesting. I mean, we have Jedi Master Mace. Whenever enemy is revived, he dispels all debuffs on himself, recovers 100% health. And then if he's in leader spot, the Jedi Vanguard gain benefits based on their role. So basically your attackers gain 100% offense. So when it sounds like when you hit Vader the 3 times, probably going to revive somebody else. And so then from there, and that's pretty interesting. And again, the healers and supports dispel stealth at the start of their turn. Tanks are immune to stun, gain protection up for 100% for 2 turns. And
whenever he uses a special.
Yeah, whenever he uses a special
whenever
ability,
Mace
right?
uses a special, they get 100% bonus protection. That's
pretty dang good. And so Jocasta knew whenever a Jedi Vanguard ally attacks out of turn, her cooldowns are reduced by 1, and whenever she uses a special ability, Jedi Vanguard gain crit avoidance up for 2 turns. Now, the next one here, I want you to hold on to your, Mace's counterpart in Jurassic Park. You got to hold on to your butts for a moment. While Kelleran Beck has full health, he has 25% increase in speed.
Oh, yes.
I know, it just feels like that one's kind of like...
out.
That's great. Thank you.
Good job, Kelleran. Yeah.
Now, it looks like Grand Moff Tarkin, he gains tenacity up equal to 5% of his potency. So, again, okay, we'll see what happens with it. Yeah. And then Apo, while there is an allied Nightfall Trooper active, Apo has 25% defense. So, that's another one you're like, okay, great, 25% defense. Let's see if that even does anything.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how important that is. The tenacity and potency. I'm curious how big the tenacity is going to be, because I see that mentioned a lot. And it's Lord Vader and Order 66 clones. They debuff like crazy. So that probably is going to be a pretty big strat. I hope we don't have to actually mod for tenacity, because remodding for raids is one of my least favorite things ever. It's like, you're going to have to remod every week. Yeah. I hate that. And I know loadouts. I get it. But I know
it. There's that one person that says, well, there's loadouts. It's like, I know, but I just don't want to do it.
Yeah. No. Nope.
So, yeah, those are the hero pieces to it. Again, there was one for Omega, but it's about tenacity up. It's nothing too crazy. Now, really, when you look at it, based on kind of what I'm reading online, it seems like the overall milestones and the points and those things, it's really not going to be that much different, right? So there's a little bit of changes when it comes to each level. It looks like 7 and 8 are a little bit different, but in general, it doesn't really seem like it's like going to be one of those things where there's going to be hate videos out there because, that's drastically changing the results of what you're going to get. Have you heard anything different on that, or no?
No, that's the impression that I get too. And it of course, with the caveat, once again, until we actually get our hands on it, we don't know. But I get the sense that it's going to be, hey, if you're doing great in the Naboo raid, you're going to do great in this raid. Yeah. Because assuming that you're the type of person that relics up your tunes for that, if you approach this raid with similar power levels, you're going to have similar results. I think the difference here, what I'm looking for in terms of a different experience, is I want it to just be more fun.
Yeah.
And the Naboo raid, we dunk on it all the time. It's not terrible. I've seen much worse content in this game, much worse. But it just got really stale, and it did it really fast. Like, the first month or so of it was like, this is awesome, because it's a shiny new thing. But the more you get into it, the more you're like, no, it's not. I don't enjoy this.
It just feels like they need to employ Tom Hanks from Big, from that scene where he's like playing with it and be like, why are you making that, building just become a transformer? Like, it just
literally every question or every design choice should be asking, yes, but is it fun?
Yeah, agreed.
And I feel like sometimes they miss that mark. And of course, like every game developer is going to miss that mark at times, right? And I'm not trying to dog them at all. I'm just saying that's the thing I'm looking for is at the end of the day, do I have fun playing it? Yes. Cool.
So I have a question for you. Now, the second to last line of this post says, your hope is a weakness and it will be your undoing. So do you have high hopes, middle hopes, or low hopes?
Well, based on that, I guess I should temper them. Maybe I should not have high hopes. No, I do. I do have high hopes because of the feedback to the last 2 raids. I think going over the history of raids, there is always new, interesting ways to frustrate players. And that's kind of the nature of the game, is you have to frustrate us a little bit to get us to figure out how to beat it, to work hard enough to beat it, whatever, to relic things up to beat it. It's getting that balance with making us want to get better at it instead of making us feel, well, this is stupid. I can't even do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that particularly the last 2 raids, the speeder bike one was, it was the raid equivalent of the paper, rock, scissors in the Rey and Kylo things. It was follow a pattern. You deploy a rebel, someone that can evade, and then a trooper. And you do this, basic with the trooper. This, basic with the trooper. This, basic. Fun, engaging, you know.
Yeah.
And they really swung for the fences with that raid. So they're not all going to be hits. I get it. Cool. There were things about it that were kind of neat, but it was really just kind of like, this is not Galaxy of Heroes. I remember I actually wrote up a blog about how badly it missed the mark. And I ended up not publishing it because it just seemed like I'm not here to talk about how bad this game is. Like I did plenty of that on the podcast. I feel like I got it out. But you take that and you take the repetitive nature of Battle of Naboo, and not just repetitive, but like perfect example. Queen Amidala is a great team for this raid.
Yep.
Now, she has 3 moves. She has a basic attack, she has an AoE, and then she has her summon her decoy, right? I don't know how everyone else is modded, but she always goes first on my team.
Mine too.
Now, I forget exactly why, but I have read the strategy guides, and it's just ingrained in my brain that you don't open with summoning a decoy. You want to get rid of half the droids first, and then you can summon a decoy. I don't remember why, but okay, that's in my brain. The thing is, you would think you've got a wall of droids in front of you, so you would open with an AoE. But you don't, because they all fully heal by the time anyone else takes a turn. So you're wasting it. You just want to do a basic. And that seems like just a little thing that you learn and whatever. Cool. No, not cool. If I have a special and there is a wall and it's an AoE and there's a wall of enemies in front of me, I shouldn't be opening with a basic because there's a mechanic where they all fully heal. Mm-hmm. If you blink, everyone fully heals. And the sense of defeat that you feel when you work on a droideka and get it close, and then it's like, well, it's my turn, and I'm fully healed, and I have damage immunity, and I deleted one of your guys. Now what?
Yeah, right.
That has to go. There will be none of that tolerated in this raid. So I didn't think I'd be soapboxing, but I soapboxed tonight.
But I mean, I hope that they listen. I mean, you can't say that you listen in other things. And I do think that, going back to what you said earlier, just there's a certain point where, yes, we have to expect some type of toughness. And I get that. And I think it has to be there, especially at this point. There's a lot of people that maybe how I say this not being too mean, but like you may not be good at all and you're just pressing buttons and that's okay. But there's also there's these people that are super awesome at this, that know every piece to it, that it's like a SWOGA degree, right? I definitely get that. But when you go back to what you said is it fun? You know, it's like trying to go back to a regular Nintendo game like Turtles in Time, and like you are not prepared for how tough that is anymore. Like that is just going to be the case. And for me, it's always Maximum Carnage for Super Nintendo. Oh my gosh, that game was so dang tough.
I had that on Sega Genesis, and I thought it was so neat. And then I started playing it, and I was like, no, this is just painful.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting as a whole. So yes, this will come out, I think, on the 21st. You will have 4 more days to do whatever you need to do to get to your 5 teams. Have you started setting yours aside, what 5 you're going to use?
Just barely. I'm completely out of focus and it's distracting me. I moved my Bad Batch into my favorites. And that's the prep I have basically done. I started working on them to get them all up to a certain benchmark, you know. Yeah. I mean, the pirates are right out. There's nothing you can do about that.
Agreed. Nor should you.
And honestly, like it kind of stinks because like Mace is going to come out and I'm not going to have him right away. I'm sure he's going to be, well, I would certainly hope he's going to be awesome at it.
Yeah.
So no, I haven't really solidified what my runs are going to be. Obviously, it's going to be the Bad Batch. But besides that, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. What about you? Do you have a spreadsheet on this?
No, yeah, definitely. I haven't put them in there. I'm still, Crosshairs to me isn't 7 stars yet, so that's going to be the challenge. And so, I mean, Vanguard wise, I mean, we're going to have 2 Vanguard teams, and so, I mean, it's going to be all right in those cases, but you know, I think this first time, I just don't want to be worst in the guild, but I won't be the top in the guild. But it's going to be interesting. I'm a lot farther along than I thought I was going to be for Bad Batch. And I love the fact that they did the double drop. So we didn't talk about that last week because it was the data drops, you know. And so for me, that was huge. Now, I wish they'd do the same thing for the Dark Side clones.
That would be
amazing.
Too good. Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, we're not going to have pirates. If you're free to play, you're not going to have... And I know
the Mace team isn't going to be ready.
The Mace team isn't going to be ready. And for most of us, you know, your Dark Side clones aren't going to be ready. So it really is going to be annoying a little bit, won't lie, that we're going to be decreased in, you know, in goodies because we're not ready yet. But hey, you got a year. You'll make it up. Quit your whining. It is what it is, right? Think positive thoughts. I mean, I'm whining.
Fine, so. I will.
So yeah, I think that's we have given it our college try for the raid there. I mean, I hope you're 1/10 better than what you were before this. So
so when the raid starts, go in and knock out a couple clones, hit Vader 3 times. Bingo bango. Jedi saved.
Right? First try.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about as exhaustive as it's worth getting into at this point. So we should get out of here, really, but we can't without first telling people who you're grinding.
Ooh. Well, like I preluded, talked about. Either way, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Just like that.
I was trying to work up a pun and it wasn't going to happen. So you were preluding.
Yeah, there you go. With the double drops, it was huge for me. Omega was 75 100. Now she's up to Relic 5. That's probably where she's going to sit. I think we're all going to be at Relic 5 like I did with my Gungans.
Yeah.
Kind of is what it is. Now, Batcher went from 43 out of 100 to Relic 1. just because guess what? Signal data still happen for somebody else.
Sure.
Now, Hunter, 57 out of 100 up to Relic 5. And then Wrecker went from 69 out of 85 up to Relic 3. So we're going to get him up to 5, and then we'll go to Batcher. So not too bad. 4 out of the 5 were in Relics. Now, Crosshair, 49 out of 65 up to 47 out of 85. That is a good chunk for a week, but
that's a really good, impressive.
But it's not going to happen before we get to the 25th. So that one, unfortunately, I'm not sure how that's going to work just yet. But now I will say for Conquest, Jocasta Nu will be unlocked as soon as this one's done. I kind of slow played her a little bit. Again,
good for you, because I haven't used her. You know, like, yeah.
When I saw a lot of people saying she's good, but what am I going to use her for? I'm like, all right, I'm not going to really go too hard for her. So yeah. And I will say Conquest it's actually been tough a little bit. It's been a little bit kind of a tougher to get some of the feats for me. I just had really bad luck with some of those discs. So either way, I'm glad that I slow played, so then I can move forward on that.
Gold crate and
gold. Yeah, I stop at 530.
Pausing there. Mm-hmm. That's about where I am, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
and again, my pirate guy, I'm not going to need him for a moment either. So either way. Oh wow, we're going to tangents tonight. The dirty clones. Apple went from 18 out of 30 to 18 out of 65. And there we go. That's the main pieces to the shards. Feels good. Yeah. Anytime I do, like last week, I didn't have any relic levels. I went up. So it just feels like I'm like a bum. So this felt like it was a pretty good week for me.
Those are more meaningful for sure. Yeah.
So I did end up going through for Zetas, end up getting Omega's leadership and Hunter's focused cooperation. So got 2 of those. When did we all of a sudden get Zeta Poor? I mean, it feels like that's slowing down for me right now. I got 4 or 5 I need to do.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of it, I have 45 Omicrons.
Oh my goodness. You maniac.
I keep on thinking that maybe I'm going to hold them because I really want the TB for the Vader, team on that one. I want that, but it's going to be a while before we get to that. I might need to just bite the bullet and get rid of these, and not really get rid of them, but
put them to work.
Nothing really looks attractive to me for some reason. I want another Wampa, or I want another like game
transformative
changer.
Yep.
So
like we were talking on the stream about Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
Just make that Datacron an Omicron.
Agreed.
We all love it. Everyone loves that Datacron. Just when it expires, make it an Omicron. We'll be thrilled.
Because you're not going to put on defense.
Or wait, doesn't he have an Omicron for like territory wars or something?
I
think he does, and it's like kind of sad. Yeah.
So, I am, as you can see, there's no pirates in there. There's no thing that's going to truly help me for this raid. So, who knows? Maybe I can learn something and feel better through yours. So I got to know who you grinding.
Oh God, no. Yeah. Well, I'm working on a few things. So, I guess let me start with the things that I did. I took Trench. I wanted him at Relic 7.
Wow.
He fits into the greater scheme of my territory battle strategy. So I took him to Relic 7, and now that's just done. And I should have been focusing on these things, but I did the thing. So basically, I took all of my Gungans out of my favorites. I took them all up to Relic 6 last week. And I was going to take them to 7, and I want to take them to 7, but let's be real. We got a raid popping in just a few days.
Mm-hmm.
So I added Enfys Nest. I have her at Relic 3. I want to kick that up to 5. 5 is like, if you're involved in this raid, you're going to be 5. Right? Or not just Jedi Knight
sense.
Guardian probably isn't going to 5. But, you know, like anyone that I plan on using, and I think I will be using her. So I did that. The Bad Batch, I took Wrecker from Relic 3 up to Relic 4. Right after midnight, he's going to Relic 5. He barely needs any more. Omega's at Relic 3. Batcher's at Relic 5. Hunter, I didn't add on here, but he's at Relic 3. I just started with Batcher because I had her Datacron. Mm. And then I did Wrecker because he's a tank.
Right.
Like,
makes sense.
You know?
Yeah.
Just to make the team better, that seems like the next logical one. So then Crosshair went from 11 up to 35 out of 100. And I'm curious if I might spend a little money to get him sped up. Because I want to be able to have like a full good team for this raid. And this is like the one that I'm closest to being able to have a good full team, at least at the Relic 3 level. I can do that, you know?
You're falling into their trap.
Oh, totally. 100%.
It's a trap.
I don't know. I got to look at it. But, I mean, he's 35. It's going to be several weeks before I get him to 100, probably, if I don't do something to boost that. My low-down dirty clones, they're in decent shape. Oppo went from 24 up to 44 out of 100. None of the other guys made any moves, but, like, they're getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem, I guess, is 2 of them are only 5-star. And I know, like, that's higher than some people have, but, like, that means this raid comes out, like, I ain't doing nothing with them. You know, they got to be gear 12 to get in. So that team's not doing anything. As far as Zetas, I got Temple Guard his Zeta. I got Scorch his Zeta. So I'm caught up with all the like new characters except Depa Bilaba. And then I still need Ayla's new one and Krennic. And then I'm so close to that barrier of just being able to move on from scraping by with Zetas. I want to get to that good life, you know?
Makes sense.
For Omicrons, I got enough to apply one, and I just willy-nilly put it on Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, his second one, that I don't regret it. I've wanted it for a long time. Make that territory battle mission a little bit easier. His second one, I forget what it's called. It's not his leader ability. So I have his 2 non-leader abilities. I love his leader ability too, but I don't want to keep screwing up that mission because we got 29 out of 30 this last territory battle. I was one of the failures.
Me too.
So like I thought, let's just do it. And then for Datacrons, I bought the Darkside Ray Datacron. I bought the Hermit Yoda Datacron, and I bought the Jawa Datacron. Ain't no way I can afford to upgrade 3 focused Datacrons. I bought one last time around, the Boba Fett one, and it's been fun. But this is nuts. So I took the Jawa one up to level 3, and everyone says, like, I'm just buying it and taking it to level 3. I did that, and I thought, yeah, that's an exit ramp that I will take. Ray, I've got up to level 9, and Hermit Yoda, I think, is at 3 too. I don't know, man, because like I don't want to miss out on all the rest of the Datacrons in this set. You know, the only other level 9 I got was a Django. I just re-rolled and got a Gar. Like I want Super Commando, right? But yeah, this is the sound I made when I got it. Gar. But I don't know. I'm torn because my total Datacron picture is not pretty. Like last set I had 7 level 9s plus my focused. this set so far, I have 1 level 9. And my focus is at level 9 as well, I guess. But, that goes to 15. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to have to spend some crystals and refresh some nodes or do some conquest refreshes that I normally would not do. All right, that's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend you try to upgrade 3 focus datacrons at the same time. What am I, a whale? If you want to continue this conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. You can become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks also go out to Pabuapa and swgoh.gg and swgohevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG